Is oh yes, return of a great sweaty burn and learn. Woo! Boy, oh boy, that was one hell of a return. Whew! I need a drink. Back in a second. Hang on, I'm almost there. I'll be there. Don't worry about me. There in a second. You get yourself settled. I'll be right there. Whew! All right. What have we got going now? What is this madness of which I speak? Welcome to the chat room. It says, I'm going to put that up. I've got that going. I should probably go to YouTube and see what's happening on there. My little YouTube friends, for whoever's there for that. Let's do this. YouTube. Go to my channel. I want to see my channel. Am I nice and live? Am I live? I am live. Here, look at that. Okay. That can be silenced. That can be popped out. My God, my glasses are fogging up. Hello, Rebecca and Shelly Bell and Janelle and Max and David and Victor and Antonia and Rebel Time Lady and Marcos. Oh my God, you got everybody. Love the hair. What have I done with my hair? Oh, good Lord. Yeah, that's just because I've sweated. I've sweated through everything. It's horrendous. Oh my God, what have I done? I've returned to this madness and it truly is madness. Who have we got in the old Twitch chat here? We've got, I need my glasses. Mandy. Hello, Mandy. Layer Cake Dev and Anquiitis. How are you? So, yes, I'm back. Man, it was not easy, I got to say. I'm still not feeling 100%, and I could probably have used another day off, but I just was really worried that the longer I wait, the less chance it was that I was going to get better. I need windshield wipers and defogger. I need like the little defogger, the defogging thing, the defrosters. God, I don't know why you joined me here. I mean, I welcome you all. Thank you very much. But why on earth you want to see this great sweaty beast after his exercise? I do not know, but I love you. I love you for it. Let me get the thing a little closer so you can probably hear me better. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm not 100% yet, but I'm I got stuff to do, I got things to do, places to go, people to meet, that kind of stuff, exercise to do. I've also got to talk to my friend Andrea at 3 o'clock, so I cannot be late. I will probably talk to him all sweaty and gross, but poor guy. But I haven't spoken to him in, oh God, it might even be years now. He lives out in, I think it's Italy. And the last time he came by, I took him to the CN Tower. We went up to CN Tower and had an extraordinarily weird lunch. A great lunch with him, but the people, the attendants, or the staff at the CN Tower did not know what to do with this poor guy who was in in this big electric wheelchair. He doesn't move. He can only eat soft, very, very soft food, like tastes of food and stuff. And they wanted to charge him for a full meal for being there. And I'm like, dude, you cannot do that. And then they wanted to charge his caregiver. And I was like, dude, you cannot charge the guy's caregiver extra to be. Anyways, we had a little discussion about it. I was quite shocked the Canadians were so by the book on that stuff. Anyways, but after all of that, I'm not sure if Andrea was even aware that was going on, but I was quite shocked that there wasn't better understanding of what was needed for this guy, and they were not sort of, there was just nothing in place for him. Anyways, ended up having a lovely time, nice chat, met his mom and chatted with his caregiver and checked out his technology as this really cool eye gaze and very much like what is it called? A very sort of Stephen Hawking's setup that he's got, and just an amazing guy, just trucking along, doing cool stuff, meeting the Pope, things like that. I'll have to mute YouTube. Yeah, I'd have to do that. If you're watching both, you're going to cause complete and utter chaos. Burn and learn. This is my bid to stay alive and fit long enough to enjoy my golden years with my brilliant, beautiful wife, Jane, my fabulous son, Sebastian, my annoying dog, Huzzah, who really was annoying today, trying to drag like giant tree logs of what she would call a stick with her, attack small dogs thinking they were squirrels. There was a lot of fun this morning as I took her for the walk. But when I came back, I ate 2 giant peanut butter sandwiches and I sat on the sofa like a giant
lump. And I thought, you know what? This is crazy. I got to go back. I got to go back to the torture device. And I did a split burn and learn today. So I have just finished the book Memory and Madness. Fabulous book. Cannot recommend it enough. There was a whole chunk near the end of all of the science behind the stuff. I got very, very lost. And I think I want the book to, or maybe just a YouTube video or something to help explain some of the stuff that was going on there. But the last chapter was devastating. Was finding out that we just do not, we spend a tiny, tiny, tiny amount of money on trying to solve things like Alzheimer's and dementia. And we even wonder if maybe, we're not supposed to become senile in our old age. Maybe that is just this buildup of prions or these kind of conditions. And we should be putting money into this because the amount of money we're spending, what is it, something like 600 times as much on caring for people with these conditions than we are on researching ways of stopping it. And there's this horrible statistic that basically, I can't remember what the numbers were, but the one that really stuck with me was that over 80, you have a 1 in 3 chance of dementia. 1 in 3. Which is, if you survive cancer and everything else and all the other diseases that are out there, and you make it to 80, then you're 1 in 3 chance of dementia. It's really just depressing. And he was asked by his colleagues, in the hopes of getting some more funding for this stuff, he was asked, the guy who discovered these prions that are these wayward proteins that can replicate and cause chaos. He was asked, couldn't you at least speak to some of the supplements or the healthy living or any of these things that people talk about doing as a way of preventing this, dementia and Alzheimer's and stuff. And he's like, well, no, because nothing stops it. I mean, you can maybe slow stuff down, but nothing stops it. And we need to figure out how to solve it. Like our science has got to get behind it. So that was just a kind of depressing end to this book. But at the same time, hopeful, because obviously now we have, thanks to his work and this Nobel Prize that he won, and the attention that gives it, we now have the groundwork has been done to start coming up with some really interesting discoveries. And that, along with the whole DNA side of stuff and being able to break things down into these component parts and figure out what's what. It looks like he seems confident that we will come up with a solution. The question is just when, and also why aren't we spending more money on it? Like why is this not a priority for people? There's so much money being spent on cancer, there's so much money being spent on other things, not to say that they shouldn't be, but that, like you said, the one that really stuck out for me was the fact that we spend so much more, some ridiculous number of more amounts of money on looking after people who have these horrible brain deteriorating diseases or prions, and not enough on actually trying to cure it. So it's just usual issues in the world. God, I'm such a sweaty beast. Anyway, so that was fascinating. Then I started another book, which I should tell you the name of, because I leapt into that stuff. Gimpy G! It's a Christmas miracle. David's risen from his deathbed to exercise. It's true, Gimpy G. It's very true. Everyone, Gimpy G, go follow Gimpy G Gaming if you can. ASMR Gamers here. Look at that. Gojira's here. Gojira Prime even. We've got Helen. We've got Lorenzo. We've got Victor. Who else have we got here? We got in the old Switch, in the Twitch stream here. We got Anquiitis, Mandy. Hello, Mandy. Onyxis Draconis. Good motto. I like the sound of that. Wormhole 42. Woohoo! We got Lars. Lars Bear is here. The Nick's here. Let that one marinate. Dementia is so sad. It's true. Seth Animus says, yeah, we need more people providing computing power to Project Be Folding at home to help with that research. Yeah, that's a good one. Actually, that's a really good way of helping out, isn't it? Luds TV says hello from Belgium. Good Lord. The Orion Pyros says heyo, and I say heyo back. Let me find this book for you because it was quite fascinating. It's quite a fascinating tale. So another Audible book. This is called A History of Horror. And it is by Wheeler Winston Dixon. What a great name. Wheeler Winston Dixon. And it is so far like an impenetrable amount of dates and names and stories. I'm hoping whether I don't know if they're male or female, I'm really hoping that they've just started to delve more into some of the stories around the movies, and seems to be focusing on the early sort of 30s and 40s seems to be the time that they're focused on, but they go back way into like 1800 stuff, and even into wax recordings that were done live with visual shows and stuff. So it's just kind of neat. I'm rather obsessed with horror right now. Just watched an interesting, what was it? Some kind of a Scandinavian werewolf movie. What was it called? It was oh god, it was Viking Wolf or something like that. It was pretty bad in places, but it was also really fun. I liked the wolf. I thought they did a good job with the wolf, and I kind of liked the way the story progressed. I came away from it and I was like, wait a second, there's a few giant holes, but it was, it was a fun ride. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time with my wolves. Yeah, and quiet. What's quiet? Am I quiet? Audio stuttering for anyone else? Audio is okay, says Sith Animus. Someone else says it's quiet. Cal's here. Hey, Cal. How are you, Cal? Mortspart. Nice. Hey, Cal. Mortspart redeemed a timeout, Cal, for 5 seconds. It doesn't work. It never works. Hello, people, says Cal. Audio is fine, and so is volume. That is Cal. Cal has spoken. Mortspart says, I've been gathering these 20K for it. Oh, no. It's okay. Cal doesn't talk that much anyways, generally, so it's not like, you don't have to silence her, really. She tries not to talk as much as possible. Do you like horror stories, David, like creepypastas? Yes, I do. Absolutely. Very, very much so. I've been watching a lot of horror of late because it's the only thing that surprises me. That's my new diatribe about film, is that horror is just such an interesting genre because it covers westerns and comedies and sci-fi and basically every genre that there is a horror version of it as well. And although, as this history of horror book is making clear, the comedy aspect, the parody side of the horrors is a great way to kill a franchise. They killed like the Wolfman and the Mummy and Dracula as well. They were all murdered by bad comedies, usually at Universal Studios, who were too busy trying to sort of recycle what they were doing. They were even apparently recycling sections of films. There's a classic one about this old silent film that was done. I don't know if it was about Faust or Hexen. It was about the history of witches, but there was a couple of these old films that had these very sexy, naughty scenes about hell and naked women and things like that. And they actually lifted some of those clips from the old movies and placed them in more modern movies to use for that stuff as well. So it's just a lot of reusing, very sort of, was it Roger Corman kind of stuff? Is it Roger Corman? Yeah, Gordon Corman was the guy I used to read, the Canadian guy. But Roger Corman, making some very definitely some Roger Corman approaches over at Universal to make some of these films. And I just find the history fascinating. There's, Lon Chaney Jr., and just how like there are three big, was it Lon Chaney Jr., there was Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff, and so many of them struggled within this studio system and study with addiction and poverty. A lot of the writers that wrote these amazing classic stories like H.P. Lovecraft and stuff all died in what they say penury, because there was no success at the time for them. And it's just, we see, I hear all these stories because with the SAG and writer strike and stuff. Everyone's talking about how, you got to be able to earn a living wage and stuff. And it's, you look back on the birth of cinema, and certainly in the horror genre specifically, a little bit more maligned part of the industry, that this was always a problem. There were the people who owned the studios and the people who worked for the studios, and the people who owned the studios tended to do a lot better than the people who worked for them. So, and I think was it Bela Lugosi? What is it? Either Bela Lugosi, I think it was Bela Lugosi who first started organizing SAG. I think he was one of the first SAG members. I can't remember if it was Bela Lugosi or Lon Chaney, one of the two. Ray Bradbury, oh my God, Ray Bradbury, a dead pixel. Ray Bradbury's literally one of my favorite writers of all time. He's written some of the most terrifying books I've ever read. There was an extraordinary one that haunted me called October Country. It's a series of short stories there that just freaked me out. I should read them again now. As a kid, I just had the most horrendous nightmares. And even as a kid, looking back, now I think about it, I used to terrify myself by reading stuff. I had Folklore, Myths, and Legends, this horrific book that was like, I think it was a Reader's Digest book, that was all bound up to look like an old silver and black book my mom bought. And I was just glued to this thing, and it had sort of pictures of heads in bell jars and tales of of hotels and pubs where people would mysteriously disappear and end up in the stew. That sort of stuff. Oh my God, I love that stuff. And then of course there's the Penguin Book of Horror and the Penguin Book of Ghosts and the Penguin Book of all sorts of wonderful collections of horrific books. Just absolutely love that stuff. And I guess that's sort of translated to film now. So Something Wicked, This Way Comes. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Bradbury's amazing. Love the illustrator. If you like Ray Bradbury, I've got to say, my friend, he'll be embarrassed that I'm making this connection, but my friend James Key, who's known as, his pen name is Crow Scratch, has done a series of books called Tales from the Haunted Library, which has a definitely sort of a comedic element to it. But his stories, there's a couple of stories in there, a few stories in there. He's got, I think, 8 volumes now, something like that, of these stories. And they're all short stories, and they're all there's some very, very Ray Bradbury, clever, horrific stuff in there. You should go to Amazon, check that out. It's called Tales from the Haunted Library. The author is Crow Scratch. And say hi for me, because his stuff is amazing. And he's the closest thing I've read in a long time to those old, fun, twisted Ray Bradbury tales from like October Country and stuff. Ads. What's ads? Had to refresh as the video froze. Oh, stupid ads. They've added ads even if you pay, I think you still get ads, right? Something Wicked, This Way Comes, yeah. The Illustrated Man. Oh boy, I don't think I've read that one. I have to look at that. He was like a more literate Hitchcock. Huh, interesting. That's a good way of putting it. Oh shoot, what is the name of the movie about the director, James Whale? Oh, Gods and Monsters. Yeah, Gods and Monsters, fantastic. Watch Gods and Monsters. Interesting look into James Whale's life. Yeah, because James was, I don't know if he was if he's like out of the closet, openly gay, but he was a gay director at a time when, of course, you did not want to be found out for that, because that was all sorts of miserable silliness about that. Abbott and Costello raised the Universal Monsters to all new heights. Fight me about it, Hewlett. Gimpy G, really? Oh man, we're have to talk about this. I have to talk about this on Damn Dirty Abe's on Monday. Next Monday, we'll have to talk about this because I never liked the Abbott and Costello Universal monster movies. I was a humorless and serious child who enjoyed my horror straight. So yeah, I would agree with this guy who wrote the story of horror here, the history of horror, that was basically what killed those franchises. So there, Gimpy G Gaming. But then again, I'll be on your show on Monday, and you can tear me apart with that. Rebel Time Lady. Oh shoot, yeah. That was it. We're talking about Gods and Monsters. Fabulous book, absolutely fabulous book. Cheeseball horror like Aliens and Tremors is the best horror. Aliens is not cheesy horror. What are you talking about? Dragon's Lair TV. Aliens is brilliant. Tremors, brilliant. There was some cheeseball there. It's kind of fun though. Yeah. Hey Lance, hope you're okay. It says Mandy2462. I don't know why he wouldn't be, because frankly, he's living the life. Dewey1984 says Twitch Turbo for $11.99 a month, no ads at all. Been using it for a year or more. Twitch Turbo, okay. That sounds interesting. But you're gonna pay $12. Like, isn't that like that's just like another subscription? Ooh, speaking of subscriptions, get this tomorrow. I am talking with one of my fabulous friends, Bonnie Schmidt from Let's Talk Science. Dying to talk to her about that. She's got some new thing that she's doing that I think has something to do with like science fiction and science. So I'm really hoping to be a part of that, help her out with that. Also, I've got the Bell Company coming to see me because they've just taken apparently this fiber optical internet that I have, which I thought was pretty good. The speed's been pretty great, as they've just like almost tripled the speed. And for some reason, it's cheaper. So there'll be some reason why they can rip me off, I'm sure. But so I'm getting a new modem tomorrow and should be even faster internet. So I don't know why I need faster, but it's faster. So I've got to have it. We need another Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Yeah, no kidding. Layer Cake Dev. That was fun too, wasn't it? The other one, the Fly horror thing. Yeah, the Fly was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. I really want to do what I call an entomological horror. I really want to do a sort of an ode to bugs horror movie, like just like one that really just revels in the insects, because I always, I don't know why, but I always seem to side with the monsters. Like it's like, in 2001: A Space Odyssey, I sort of sided with Hal. I didn't think it was fair that he was getting shut down. And I tend to side with the monsters on these things. I sort of wanted to be them. Oh no, not bugs. Oh yes. Galen Chow. Oh, yes, the bugs are coming. We need a new Bruce Campbell for Campy Horror. Oh, my God. Has everyone seen Baba Hotep? Baba Hotep is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Although I haven't seen it for years, but I remember absolutely loving it. They just did a new one with Bruce 2 years ago. What was it, Ryan Pyros? What was it? I nominate Nick Cage. Oh, my God. For truly weird horror, yes, absolutely. You cannot beat Nick Cage on some of that stuff. Color of, what is it? Something of color? The sound of color? The color of something? Arachnophobia, again, absolutely brilliant. Although not a bug, I'd have to say. That one, let that marinate. Not a bug. Arachnid. Just, it's in the title. I want a spider redemption movie. Spiders always get a terrible rap. Good point, Dead Pixel. I wonder if I can get spiders into my entomological horror. I saw this brilliant horror many moons ago. Cube. Recommended, chat. Ha ha, I suck up. Tasty crayon. Thank you very much. I recognize at least one of the faces in that movie. Yes. But it was weird. It was like it was a smaller face. It had more angles to it, and there was more hair attached to it. Have you ever seen Demon Seed? Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Demon Seed. Demon Seed was the one where she gets like raped by the computer, right? My son says that the 80s and 90s were obsessed. 70s, 80s, and 90s were obsessed with raping poor women on screen. And he's not entirely wrong. But yeah, that was. I do remember that one. There was another one, The Entity. Was it The Entity? The one where there was, well, she gets raped by a ghost. Jesus, there really was kind of I got it's a whole genre going there. Spyro, thank you very much for subscribing. And hello to you too. Dead Pixel says maybe a giant spider rushes in just in time to eat the killer bug and save the protagonist. Yeah, that's a good point, Dead Pixel. I got to say though, I was never a fan of giant bug movies. I mean, unless you get into Godzilla and that kind of stuff, unless you count that, like Mothra and stuff like that. I like them, but I never liked the giant bug movies. One of the best, weirdest, probably most terribly aging movie that I adored so much that I dug it up, I found it, I bought the only copy I could find, which is a digital copy. And if anyone finds a DVD, please God, I will buy that off you. I'm so in love with this movie. It's called Phase 4, and it was an ant movie, not a giant ant movie, little ants. And wow, I remember just that movie freaked me out. It was Saul Bass, the guy who did all the posters for Man with the Golden Arm and all this stuff, like brilliant poster artist. And it was like his one and only movie. And he hired this like ant specialist to go and film all the ant stuff. And the guy like was gluing little symbols on their forehead and filming in their ants nest things and what are they called? Those transparent ant farm things. And oh man, just amazing. Mosquitoes, some people have them all year. It's true. Mosquitoes, horrible things. It's very true. No, the worst things are things called botflies, because what happens with them is they latch onto the mosquito. Mosquito goes thunk, puts a nice little hole in your arm, sucks out all the blood it wants. As it goes, the little botfly larvae go, it's nice and warm. They drop off. Mosquito flies away. Little larva goes and goes into the hole that the mosquito just made, and it burrows in. It sticks a breathing tube out of the hole, and then it freaking grows in your flesh. Whoa, ho, ho. How's that? Insects don't do anything in a nice way. Insects only do things in the most horrible, horrific horror movie way, and thus entomological horror. There you go. Myiasis, what's that? Spyro, gifted. What are you doing? Gifting 6 gifts? Oh, thank you so much, Spyro. My God, that's great. Oh, botflies. Mozart's like, oh, botflies. Here we go. Don't look up botflies. Don't do it. Just don't. Someone said don't do it. I, of course, immediately did it because that's what ADHD people do. And I immediately regret it. I can't get it out of my head. I do not want to listen to this kind of horror. Nixie Geek is out. We got Nixie Geek is tapping out. Oh, man. The Mummy scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. You mean the one with Brendan, what's his name? Brendan Fraser? That was, I remember really enjoying that. That was just fun, action-y version. But they were talking about the Mummy series in this horror history, and I'll tell you know what? I got to start doing this. I really want to do a horror series, and I think I might do it on YouTube. My agent's got a couple of show concepts, like factual show concepts that I came up with, and I wrote up a bunch of stuff for them, and I put them out there, and he's been taking them around. But I think I should just do it on YouTube, because I feel like people will enjoy it, and if people enjoy it, then they'd probably throw a couple of bucks at it, and you could just slowly build up and have like a really cool show about it. I was joking with Lance that I want to do it all under a blanket with a flashlight. Like that's just the whole show. Like if you're not going to do a TV show where you get to sort of walk through a hall of horror, like in Cabinet of Curiosities, like Guillermo's fabulous series, if I'm not able to walk through a gallery of cool horror stuff, then you go the complete opposite and just go under a blanket with a flashlight and do the whole show like that. And maybe I'll kickstart an episode or a season of that or something. Anyways, you have limited time to earn exclusive emotes because I just did it. Oh, you guys are wonderful. Look on Twitch. You got me all hype training. That's fantastic. And Tiptronics. Thank you so much. Tiptronics. Isn't that what the VW cars had? Where instead of a manual transmission, you could do this sort of semi-automatic, as they would call it. You watched Phase 4 here. OK.root video. Anything with a .ru worries me, KB Thickham. Can you really watch it there? I bought a copy. Like I said, I pirate the crap out of stuff, but if I like it, I buy it because I want to support those filmmakers because I want them to make more movies like that, or at least I want to at least acknowledge their my interest to the studios or the distributors or whoever, so they make more like that stuff. So. First time chat from Tiptronic says, yeah. Did I get it right? It was the VW, Tiptronic, right? I know that because of my wife. My wife is a gearhead. She is she loves her cars. The year of the pandemic, as a birthday present, I was going to take her to Germany and to the BMW driving course so she could do like a weekend driving course because she just always wanted to do that. And Baz and I would just watch from the sidelines, horrified, of course. But and of course, then the pandemic hit, and I'm now, of course, I haven't earned money in not enough money in a couple of years. So, although movie, I just talked to a fabulous production team, director, producers, writer, about a movie in the spring, and I am very, very excited about it, and I cannot tell you what it is, but all I can say is when you hear about it, you will squee like I squee. Can you squee like I squee? Cronenberg 13 is gifting tier 1 subs. Oh my God. Thank you so much. To Zihava 77 just got themselves a tier 1 sub. Well, fantastic. And hello from France from is it MILF? Is it MILF 68? Good Lord. Anquiitis, being able to support stuff would be nice. With the Expanse early seasons, they didn't even consider streamers, only live views in the U.S. Nice way to tell the rest of the world to F off. Yeah, basically. You could be like Elon Musk, tell the advertisers to F off. Laura Leatherwood says, woo-hoo! Tiptronic says, how much caffeine do you have daily? You always sound hyped up like when McKay took a whole lot. It's true. I'm kind of like on Wraith Enzyme all the time, aren't I? I have cut back on my coffee intake considerably. My caffeine is down. I used to drink a pot of tea in the morning and then go to coffee and basically just drink coffee until I went to bed at night. And then my doctor was like trying to prescribe me anti-anxiety pills and stuff. And I went, you know what? Maybe I should just cut back on the caffeine. So I've cut back on the caffeine and admittedly am taking some anti-anxiety stuff as well because I tend to operate at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I likened it. I have a wonderful friend, Penny, who's a director, assistant director on films. Has done everything from Guillermo's stuff to well, she's worked with everyone. Brilliant, lovely woman, and brilliant. And she, I was describing it to her, and I said the difference between, I never believed in any kind of medication for anxiety because my father is completely against all that stuff, and I never believed in it until I was sort of forced to basically my wife said, you know what, maybe you should try them. And I did. And I said, the difference is like being Mad Max chained to the front of a careening vehicle. That's without the medication. With the medication, you're just frantically trying to control the careening vehicle. At least you have a wheel is basically how I liken it to. It's just as mad and exciting. It's just that you stand slightly more of a chance in that you have some semblance of control over the vehicle. That's how I put it. Anyways, Rick and Morty. Imagine it being realistic. Yeah, I want to play Rick. That's what I want to do. Can you imagine that? How much fun would it be to play that role? I decided to cut down on caffeine by making one tea bag last about 4 cups of tea. You kind of get used to the lack of taste after a while. You know what, Nixie Geek? You know what I've done, which works really well? We used to do like a double bag. We did like 2 tea bags in a pot, and that was our tea in the morning. I now do 1 caffeine, 1 decaf, but I'll find out the make of the one that Jane bought for me because it's actually really good. It doesn't, I mean, it's crap because it's decaf. But if you mix it with caffeinated, you get a half caffeinated tea. It's not as much of a meth. Of a meth hit, should we say. Now, I need to wrap up because I have got to clean up a little bit and figure out how to use Google Meet because I haven't used that forever. But apparently Google Meet, actually, Gimpy G, you'll be interested in this. Apparently, Google Meet is better to use. Andrea prefers using Google Meet because it works better with his Tobii eye control stuff, which I thought was kind of neat. And yeah, so I'm going to have a chat with him. And it was fun to watch his Imhotep. Yeah. What else we got in here? Anyone else to say? Any other interesting things to say here? Tiptronic, you're everywhere. My God. Bud the Broken. What a great name. Bud the Broken. Elizabeth Z. I thought they were deprecating Google Meet. Oh, are they? Yeah, great. Well, maybe is it Microsoft Meet? Could it be Microsoft Meet? Is that what I mean? Google Meet. Yum. Wormhole. You're just mad. You mad bastard. Google Meet. Yum. Okay, I'm out of here. Hannibal. Oh, yeah. Fantastic stuff. Talk about horror. That's fantastic. Teams is Microsoft. Yeah. No. It's Meets. It's Meets. Yeah. Okay. No, it's definitely Meet. Ha, 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 ha. That is what went through my brain. You go. If it goes through your brain, say it. That's what works for me. Okay, I miss Google Hangouts. So do I. I got to say, I quite like Google Hangouts. If I say anything, you know what I miss? Google is just so notorious at killing things. They start them, they get you hooked, they kill them. I'm a little worried about this with AI. Like, they're going to get us hooked on this AI stuff. It's like, oh, it's all free or really cheap. And then as soon as we're all hooked on it, it's going to be like, yeah, that's like $1,000 a month. You know, look what happened with Twitter, the API on Twitter. Use it all you want. It's great. As soon as Musk gets it, it's all of a sudden it's like $5,000 a month to use the API and puts everyone out of business. Anyways, great seeing you too. Yeah, Google Plus. I got to say that I miss Google Plus. I enjoyed Google Plus. I'm going to go talk to my friend. Everyone, be safe. Be safe. Now, I was going to change it. Tell me what you think about this. I used to say, be safe, be kind, be brilliant. I'm now thinking I should say, be brave, be kind, be brilliant. It just feels more, safe sounds more like cowering in a way. Because you should be safe, though, if you're doing science, I guess. But I'm going to go with be brave, no, what am I going to do? What did I say? Be brave, be kind, be brilliant. Unlike me in every way. And until we geek again, I'll say cheerio and huzzah! I'm back. I didn't die. I'm exercising.